Okay, this is a video of the 2-needle method. I usually like to use a long needle to put the beads on and the short needle to tack. I'm gonna follow this line, starting at that line. I'm gonna put my long needle in, and then I'm gonna grab beads to fill the thread. You can take as many beads as you want. It doesn't have to be a big row like that. But then I take my short needle and I measure out, my short needle. And then I measure out where I'm gonna put my needle. Like I see where the 3 beads line up to. And then I put my needle where I think that is. And then I check 3 beads, tack it on. And then I do the same thing. And you can put your row beside, you gotta pull it tight, push the beads on, but you can put it beside your row so you can see the line where you're poking your needle through. And then you just tack it down. And then again, you pull your thread, push your beads, just so you know where the beads are gonna sit. Measure out your next tacking spot, tack it down. And then you just repeat this process. I'm gonna show you guys at the toes though. Here I'm doing 4, sometimes 3 beads, but around the toes I like to do less space in between the tacking. Okay, and here I'm grabbing more beads on my thread, beading thread. I don't even know what you would call this thread. The name is escaping me right now. And then same thing, pull it tight, push your beads, grab your short needle or your tacking needle, and start tacking it down again. So when I do curves, I always usually do 3, just to make the curve nicer. That's what it looks like from the back, if you're wondering. So I'll do 3 here again, I'm pretty sure. And then the next tack I do after this is where I'm going to start doing 2. Because it's such a small curve that I find if you only do 2 beads instead of 3, I'm adding more beads now. But I find if you do 2 for the space instead of 3, that the smaller curves curve better. See here, I'm showing the curve, and sometimes I do over push it, like push the beads over so they're kind of bunching, squishing, like what you don't want to do, but I do it for these tiny curves just to make sure the curve is curving. See? Now it's a little curve and I can continue on with my 3 or 4 space tacks. I hate when this happens, when I always double thread my needles, so sometimes one thread will go on one side of the bead and the other one will go on the other. This is what it looks like so far with the 2-needle method. Okay, now here I'm measuring how far I need to make my row go, and I figured it would need 2 more beads to go to the end of that line. So I added the 2 and they fit. So now we just tack the rest of this line down. And yeah, that's the 2 needle method. I'm going to make another video with just the 1 needle for his front paw there, so you could see that one. And then at the end, I always give it a good tug just to make sure it's nice and tight on the beading thread, not the filler, not the, oh my goodness, I can't, the tacking thread.